Hello, everybody. Richard C. Wilson coming to you from Oklahoma City this morning in a business trip negotiating an investment. And I wanted to explain a concept that I've touched on before, but to say it in a different way. We've talked about trust curves, we've talked about the importance of integrity. But when you look at the different levels of potential deal alignment, this is coming up with a deal that I'm here to negotiate right now. It goes a lot deeper and it's more nuanced, I think, than a lot of people realize on the surface. And I've been doing this 14 years and just now realizing how critical this is. It isn't a nice to have thing. It's something that you might as well not spend any energy doing unless you're completely aligned at a very granular level on both sides of the deal that you're trying to get done. So this is what I'm referring to. If you are raising capital for a deal and the person already knows you, likes you, trusts you, they're local to the deal, or they are in that city often where the deal is, and they are familiar with the industry, that is how deals get done very easily without stress. If you're spending a lot of energy where none of those three things are in place, it's going to be painful. That is a basic level of alignment. But what we don't often talk about enough, I think, in our workshops, webinars, and podcasts, is the next layer down of alignment of what is it that a CEO of a company wants if you're trying to buy his business. How do you align your efforts with his? You want to buy the business maybe at a 3 times EBITDA valuation. He wants to sell at a 5 times EBITDA. Maybe he's ready to retire, but he has a ton of strategic expertise. Maybe you would like him to stay on for 2 years, but he doesn't want a job reporting to somebody else. Figuring out the structure of the deal that maybe gets him a second bite of the apple and allows him to keep perhaps 15 to 20% equity or 10% equity or a royalty on revenues over time could be something that really helps the deal get done. In addition to that, looking at when you're raising capital, if you have a number of different investors you could go to, or you could structure the deal in a number of different ways, which is almost always an option, how can you make it so that when they hear the deal, they lean forward and say, oh, that is something that I've been looking for, or that's a different structure than I'm used to seeing, and that's going to perform differently in my portfolio because of that. We've closed a deal recently that turned a normal cross your fingers equity deal that was pretty conservative. It wasn't likely to lose investors' money, but turned it into a monthly cash flow income investment and less of a long-term illiquidity type investment. So it depends on your investors. Some want to be involved actively. Some for sure do not. Some value income. Others value higher returns. Some value liquidity. Others are going to value having a larger equity stake or just an equity warrant. Some will value tax efficiency. Others are using self-directed IRA funds, and they don't value that as much. So you need to align the deal structure with who the asset's being bought from. That's part of your process. You need to align the deal structure with the type of investor, their sophistication level, their income tax bracket, where those funds are coming from, their knowledge level, whether they're active, passive, or they're investing a lot or a little amount if they value cash flow versus returns. But then also keep in mind the alignment of the location of the deal, the relationships you have, and who would be familiar with the deal from the start. And I find that if you put a lot of thinking time and a lot of thought and intentionality behind those things, you save yourself a lot of time and effort and money. And I see people spending $20,000 a year on plane tickets to travel around, or $30,000 to structure a deal, but they're not spending 2 hours just meditating on what I just said, or just thinking through all of those different angles and then aligning things so that there's more momentum in the deal. So I just wanted to share that just because it keeps on coming up within deals that we're working on. I know I've mentioned concepts related to this in our workshops. If you follow a lot of our work here at the Family Office Club, you'll recognize some of those ideas I just talked about, but it keeps coming up. So I just wanted to keep on emphasizing how important it is. So I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for following our work. If you want to check out our upcoming events, please go to familyoffices.com.